Hello guys, welcome to my channel Physical Medicine. Today I am going to discuss about the shoulder complex. We all know that shoulder joint is a it is a synovial type of joint and ball and socket variety. Okay, three components of the shoulder complex: the humerus, the scapula, and the clavicle, and those three segments are jointed by three interdependent linkage. Joints of the shoulder complex. First হচ্ছে Stanoclavicular joint, second Acromioclavicular joint, third Glino Humeral joint, fourth Scapulothoracic joint, and suprahumeral space. Generally it's known as a suprahumeral space. First Stanoclavicular joint. It is the only structural attachment between the axial skeleton and shoulder and the upper extremity. This joint is classified as a synovial joint with 3 rotational and 3 translational degree of freedom. मतलब 6 degree of freedom देखा जाता है, 3 translatory and 3 rotationally. Articulating surface: medial end of the clavicle and manubrium of the sternum and first costal cartilage. Ligaments are the capsular ligament, interclavicular ligament, costoclavicular ligament, disc, disc is the sternoclavicular joint disc. That is the medial end of the clavicle, and this is the manubrium of the sternum, and that is the first rib. Here is the costal cartilage, and between the costal cartilage and clavicle there is the costoclavicular ligament, and that is the sternoclavicular disc, and it is the interclavicular ligament which is present between the clavicle and sternum means manubrium of the sternum. It attaches the clavicle and manubrium of the sternum. Motions those are possible. First হচ্ছে anterior and posterior rotation of the clavicle, and elevation or depression, protraction, elevation and depression, and protraction and retraction. Second is the acromioclavicular joint. Articular surface. It consists of the articulation between the lateral end of the clavicle and acromion process of the scapula. Ligaments: superior and inferior acromioclavicular ligaments, conoid ligament, trapezoid ligament, discs, perforated articular discs. Motion: anterior and posterior tilting, upward and downward rotation, and internal and external rotation. That is the coronoid process of the scapula, and that is the acromion process of the scapula. Okay, that is the clavicle, and here it is the it attached between clavicle and coracoid process of the scapula. There is the trapezoid ligament, and also there is present the conoid ligament, which attach the clavicle and the coracoid process of the scapula. Acromion process of the scapula and clavicle को अटैच करने वाला जो लिगामेंट होता है उसको बोला जाता है acromioclavicular ligament. That is the superior acromioclavicular ligament, and there is the inferior acromioclavicular ligament, and those are the perforated articular discs. And next the glinohumeral joint, which is the most important joint. Okay. Articular surface. We all know that glenoid cavity of the scapula and head of the humerus. Ligaments: at first capsular ligament, coracohumeral ligament, transverse humeral ligament, glenoidal labrum, superior, middle, and inferior glinohumeral ligament. It is the head of the humerus, and here a ligament attach the tubercles. Here is the greater tubercle, and this is the lesser tubercle, and which transverse humeral ligament मतलब ग्रेटर ट्यूबरकल और लेसर ट्यूबरकल को अटैच करता है. And here is the intertubercular sulcus, and this is the tendon of the long head of the biceps brachii in a synovial sheath. That, and it is the glenoidal labrum of the scapula. Here is the inferior glinohumeral ligament. এটা glinohumeral ligament बोला जाता है क्योंकि इसको मतलब ह्यूमरस के साथ ग्लिनोइडल लैब्रम को अटैच किया जा रहा है, इसीलिए इसको बोला जाता है ग्लिनोह्यूमरल लिगामेंट. ओके, देयर इज द सुपीरियर ग्लिनोह्यूमरल लिगामेंट, एंड दैट इज द कैप्सूल ऑफ द शोल्डर जॉइंट. Motions of the glinohumeral joint are flexion and extension, abduction and adduction, and medial rotation and lateral rotation. अब आ जा रहा है scapulothoracic joint. It is formed by the articulation of the anterior surface of the scapula with the thorax. It is not a true anatomical joint. ये मतलब true anatomical joint नहीं है. Suprahumeral space. It is suprahumeral space or suprahumeral joint. It is also known as a suprahumeral space, formed by the movement of the head of the humerus below the coracoacromial arch and bursa. The scapulohumeral arch is formed by the coracoid process, and bursa related to the joint. First, subacromial bursa, or it's also known as subdeltoid bursa, then subscapularis bursa, and infraspinatus bursa, then subcutaneous bursa. ओके, तो यही था आज का वीडियो. ओके, थैंक यू.